Hey, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be answering the top 10 questions that I receive as a hair loss specialist. So stay tuned, because if you have a question pertaining to hair loss, I will probably be answering that for you today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on our road to 5,000 subscribers, so I need you to also share this video with someone who could benefit from this information, and let's get on into it. So the first question is, what causes hair loss in women? And this is such a complicated answer. It's a very broad question, but there are a lot of factors to hair loss. It could be anything from genetic. You might have female pattern baldness, which is similar to male pattern baldness, but like it has to come from both sides of the family. You have to get the genes from both sides of your family to start experiencing female pattern baldness. Another thing could be hormonal changes. Like we talk about, of course, postpartum hair loss is because of the hormones that stop your hair from shedding during pregnancy. They pick back up after pregnancy, and then all that hair starts to shed, or even premenopausal or menopausal hair loss, because again, those hormones are kind of out of whack, which leads you to kind of getting those increased patches of shedding. Of course, you might be experiencing hair loss due to medical conditions such as autoimmune issues like lupus, or thyroid disease is another disease that causes hair loss. Of course, we know cancer. It could even be high blood pressure, because the medication that you use when you have high blood pressure is known to lead to hair loss as well. And of course, you could also be experiencing some hair loss just due to your lifestyle. It could be what you're eating or what you're not eating that could contribute to different reasons for hair loss. If you want to learn a little bit more about the different types of alopecia, like what causes them, I have tons of videos on my channel. I'll make sure I link them up here on the screen as well as in the description box. But there are a lot of different factors that could contribute to your hair loss. So it's important. I always tell people it's important, if you want to know why you're experiencing hair loss, to go to a dermatologist and have them do a scalp biopsy. That way they take a little piece of your scalp and they can actually accurately diagnose what the cause of this alopecia might be. The next common question is hair loss preventable? And of course, some forms of hair loss, some forms of alopecia are completely preventable, such as traction alopecia. We can prevent that. Traction alopecia comes from, tight styles, braid styles, anything that is constantly tugging and pulling on the scalp. So you can prevent that. Some ways of preventing hair loss are to, number one, you don't want to wear any style all the time. I don't care what style it is. I don't care if it's a wrap, if it's a sew-in, if it's braids. You don't want to always have the same tension spots on your hair, because eventually it'll wear and those follicles will start to weaken or even die out. So that's one way. Another way, of course, is to make sure that you are treating the scalp like a biodome, like a little ecosystem that you're treating with the correct nutrients and things like that. So you want to make sure that your scalp is cleansed, if not weekly, bi-weekly. You want to make sure that you're using the correct shampoos and conditioners for your scalp. If you have oilier scalp, you want to make sure that you're doing something that's a little bit more cleansing, more clarifying. If you have a little bit more of a drier scalp, you want to make sure that you're putting that moisture in there, using some more moisturizing, maybe even keratin rich shampoos. You want to make sure that you're using products that attack your actual hair or scalp issues, not just something that the latest influencer is using. You want to make sure you're using something that is tailored to you and your hair. Another question is, can I determine the cause of my hair loss? Like, can you yourself determine the cause of your hair loss? And sometimes you can. Sometimes this is just as simple as you are getting braids and you're noticing that it's starting to weaken. So that's something simple that you can determine. Another way is, like, again, if you're starting to comb your hair or detangle your hair out of the shower, and you're noticing that you're getting more than like a quarter amount of hair, or more hair than usual, when you're detangling, you're seeing a little bit more shedding. That's something to be aware of. That's something to like kind of look out for. So I would definitely say you can kind of determine like, okay, well maybe I need to switch up my routine a little bit. Just be aware of it. But in some cases, it is important to go to, like I said, that dermatologist to really get the professional, because there are so many different forms of alopecia that you don't want to think that you're dealing with traction alopecia just because you have a patch that came out here, when in actuality it could be, you know, alopecia areata, which is a lot more aggressive and which could cause scarring. And then once you get those like scarring issues, it's no turning back from that. So yes, you can kind of identify some issues with hair loss and like attack them. So if you know that you've been maybe stressed a bit more or something like that, you can always acknowledge those things. But if it's anything that is rapid and concerning, I always say go to your dermatologist or your primary care physician. Now everybody wants to know, are there like any effective home remedies to combat hair loss? And there are a ton. Before I tell you any of these, I want to put the disclaimer: I am not a medical professional. I am a licensed cosmetologist. So some of these remedies you need to talk to a physician about before you use them. But just some general things that could remedy, that are remedies for it. There are a lot of effective home remedies. So one of the first things that we know is to add some supplements into our diet, and one of the biggest supplements that we know of is biotin. Biotin helps with hair, skin, and nails. So if you're noticing hair loss and then you're also noticing like a dryness in your skin or like brittleness in your nails, that's definitely letting you know that that's something more internal. That's not going to just be like stress hair loss, or that's not going to just be like, you know, traction hair loss. That's definitely something that's a little bit deeper. So biotin does definitely help with that. Again, see your physician, but biotin is one of those supplements that helps. You can get a biotin vitamin from your local GNC, Walmart, Walgreens, anything like that, and stay on that regimen. Pick that up. Also you can use some essential oils or products that have specific essential oils in them that could help treat your hair loss. So whenever we're talking about hair loss, especially when we're talking about hormonal type hair loss, the hormone that is contributed to hair loss is known as DHT. And when you're looking for essential oils, you want to get some essential oils that are known DHT blockers that will help. Now, mind you, this is a temporary solution. They are topical treatments. So as long as you're using them, it should help. When you stop using them, you might see that regression. That's why when people use Rogaine works so well, but then when they stop using Rogaine, the hair loss comes back, because Rogaine has a topical DHT blocker ingredient in it that will stop the hair loss while you are using it, but it does not cure the hair loss. Some essential oils that are natural DHT blockers are peppermint oil, tea tree oil, lemongrass, and any more that I think of, I'll make sure I put them up here on the screen. But there are a lot of essential oils that are natural DHT blockers. Another thing that I would say as far as remedying your hair loss is to make sure that you have a steady hair care routine. You can't do one thing this week and one thing the next week and one thing the next week after that and think that you're going to see any change in your hair loss. You want to get your hair on a system, on a regimen consistently, so that you can actually be able to track if you are still losing hair or if there's something you need to change or things like that. Question number 5. What non-surgical options are there when we're talking about hair loss replacement? Baby, come on, y'all know that's my field right there. There's so many things. Of course, you have your wigs. You have your various types of wigs. I think I go into a whole description of the different types of wigs in a video on my channel. I'll link that somewhere, as well as in my course. But you have all the different types of wigs, whether it's a full wig, a lace wig, a closure wig, frontals, all those things. But you don't just have to do wigs. You can also have toppers. Toppers are a great alternative for the people who don't necessarily like to wear wigs, but they have like a thin spot that they want to cover up. So it's just like a little hair piece that you just kind of click in and it blends in with your hair. You can also do just regular extensions, of course, such as sew-ins, tape-ins, eye-tips. If you are going to do the tape-ins and eye-tip suggestions, do your research. Let's do your research, because those specifically, like those two forms of extensions, that method could cause hair loss if you're going to someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Okay, so I say do a lot of research. Make sure you get someone who is certified in that type of extension, because that's not something that you just pick up off the side of the road and then you just do. Like you can get Nene from across the street to do your sew-in and it look nice, and most likely you shouldn't have too much damage. But when you're talking about like those tape ends and the eye tips, you want to make sure that they are installed correctly and that they are removed correctly, or else it would be completely pointless to use that as some type of non-surgical hair replacement, because you gonna keep on snatching out your hair, and we don't want to do that. Can diet and nutrition affect hair loss? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, really, when we're talking about hair loss, one of the first places you should go is your diet. That's honestly, that's where you should start and keep it going. You want to make sure, just like I said, your scalp is like the soil and your hair is like a plant. You want to make sure that you are feeding your body with what you want. Like, I'll tell you something, when I'm doing water challenges and I am really committed to drinking, 64 ounces of water a day, that is when I see the most like growth in my hair. It's unreal. So something as simple as increasing your water intake could help with your growth of your hair. Making sure that you are doing those nice green leafy vegetables, those things that are rich in nutrients, will also definitely help with your hair and your hair growth journey. Remember, what you put into your body is what you get out of your body, and that's in all aspects, whether it's your fitness or your beauty. Question number 7. Is stress a common cause of hair loss? I say again. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know sometimes I'm guilty of not even realizing that I am as stressed as I am until I'm starting to see a little bit more shedding than normal. And then I have to like take a mental, like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? What's going on? What are we feeling here? Your body will tell you about what's going on with you, sometimes more than your mind will. Some things to help manage stress is to take about 10 minutes a day and just meditate. I like to meditate on the blessings that I have for the day, the things that God has blessed me with. That's some things that bring me some joy, some gratefulness, some gratitude. That's what like brings my anxiety levels down. Or taking like a nice long bubble bath, reading a book, doing something that just takes your mind off of those stressors of the day and really unwind. I know a lot of people suggest doing meditation and mindfulness things in the morning. Personally, I am the person who likes to do it at the end of the day. I like to unwind. I like to journal and kind of get all of those, get all of my feelings, all of my anxieties, and all of those ill feelings out onto a piece of paper, and then I pray over it and just meditate for a little while. Just adding that 10 minutes a day could work wonders with your stress level and work wonders in your hair. Question number 8. How does hormonal changes affect hair loss in women? We talked about it earlier, you guys. Those hormones make a difference. Just like DHT is a hormone that causes hair loss, you might have those hormones from pregnancy, like I said, from menopause, maybe from whatever type of disease you might be dealing with. Hormones play a big deal when it comes to diagnosing hair loss. That's why it's also important to possibly get blood work if you are at your primary care physician and they don't want to do a scalp biopsy. Ask them for a blood work test, just so that you can see, maybe my iron is low, maybe whatever might be happening. Do not take no for an answer, you guys, when you are visiting your physicians. Get in there and really ask them some of the tough questions. Ask them to run panels, just so that you can make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Because when you are experiencing these type of changes in your hair, that is a result of an issue. You get what I'm saying? Like, the result is hair loss. What is causing that result? And you need your physicians to be able to tell you exactly what is causing that. Are there effective medical treatments for hair loss? There are a ton. I'm not going to get too deep into the different treatments because, again, I am not a dermatologist. I'm not a dermatologist, so I can't necessarily tell you all the treatments that are out there. But some over-the-counter treatments are like, of course, Rogaine, minoxidil, nioxin, things that have those natural DHT blockers like I was telling you about. But then if you go to your dermatologist, they might recommend like steroid shots. They might recommend some type of like grafts. Side note, I really wanted to get some hair grafts done, and I might take y'all on the journey with that. So, you know, be quiet, I ain't gonna tell. Once all that start happening, y'all will be the first to know, okay? Y'all will be the first to know. But there are a lot of different medical interventions that can help you with hair loss. Do not be afraid to go to the dermatologist and really ask them, and look up a dermatologist, especially if you have curlier hair. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Try to go to a black dermatologist. The percentage of them is very, very low. I'm not gonna hold you. The percentage is very low, but you want to go to somebody who understands your follicles, who understands your hair type. And it's important to go to someone who's not just going to write it off as in just like, oh, we'll just drink some more water. You want to go to somebody that can really understand what is going on, and that you can feel like your voice is heard. The last question is, how can I boost my confidence when dealing with hair loss? This one is near and dear to my heart because I understand that hair loss can be extremely traumatic for women, for men as well, but especially for women, because a lot of times we feel like our hair is our crown. That's how we express ourselves and things like that. And so when you are dealing with hair loss, it could definitely affect your confidence. But some tips that I would say to help increase your confidence when you are dealing with hair loss is, number one, do not skip on your beauty regimen. Like, if you are the girl who always went to the salon every week and you're experiencing a lot of hair loss, and so you're like, well, there's no point in me going to the salon, that's not true. You can still go to the salon, you still get your scalp massages, still get your treatments for the hair that you do have left, still treat that hair as if it's the full head of hair that you do have. That will be one thing, because you don't want to skimp on yourself. You don't want to count yourself out because you are dealing with some hair loss. Another thing that I would say to boost confidence, now these are just my suggestions, and if you have any suggestions, always drop them down in the comments. I'll say to take that extra time to pamper yourself in however it might mean for you. So you might not have the hair that you had before, but your skin is still flawless. So take that time for those extra steps in your skincare routine. Or you might not have to spend as much time in the morning styling your hair because you're wearing a wig, but maybe take an extra 5 or 10 minutes a day and put a little blush on. You know what I'm saying? Also, look in the mirror and just find some things that you love about yourself. I want you to just take a moment, look directly at yourself in the mirror. I like to do this when I'm fresh out the shower. I am free to the world. And look at yourself and find 5 things that you can compliment about yourself. 5 things, and it doesn't always have to be something physical. It can be something internal, but five things that you love about yourself no matter what. Regardless, your self-worth, your confidence should not be tied to any one external aspect of your life, whether it is your hair or your nails or your skin or whatever. All of your self-worth is not tied up in that. Your self-worth should be tied up in how God sees you. So I want to take a moment to say that no matter how you are feeling, no matter if you have a head full of hair or no hair at all, you are beautifully and wonderfully made, because you are made in the image of the Most High God. And I just want to say thank you so much for those women in this community who have shown your vulnerability, who have given me your stories about the hair loss that you've been going through and how you are kind of trying to find your confidence back. And we are here to support you. I hope that I am a resource for you or anyone that you know that might be suffering from hair loss. I hope that you are enjoying your time here in this beauty community. That's it for today's video. That was a lot of questions. If you have any more questions pertaining to hair or hair loss, you can always drop them down in the comments and I'll make sure I get back to you. Remember to like and share this video because we are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. So share. Sharing is caring. And I will see y'all in the next video. Before I forget, if you want to learn more about hair loss, wigs, how to style, maintain them, choose them, make sure you join me for my next challenge, the Go Without Glue challenge. It will be on January 29th. I will have the link down in the description box. Sign up. You do not want to miss it. I give you 3 days that are jam-packed with information so that you will come from a wig newbie to a wig expert in no time. You guys, thank you again. Make sure you signed up and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace. Now, why y'all ain't told me Why y'all ain't told me that my hands look like that? Why you ain't tell me that? I'm all ashy by the knuckles. Okay, here we go.
This is a quick snippet of my Go Without Glue course. Join this course if you are a woman suffering from alopecia so that you can learn how to choose, install, and maintain a medical wig. And for a limited time, I have a special promo code. Enter promo code INTRO to receive $50 off of this course. You do not want to miss it. Make sure you head on over to www.bsssU.com and join my course today. To everyone else, don't forget to follow me on all socials, links in the D box. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.